Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Mental Health Awareness right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest today is Michelle von Ruden. We're going to be talking about burnout, when that light switch goes off. What happened when she had that light switch? She had been shaped by the moments when life shut off her light without warning. The phone call, the car accident, the losses, the setbacks, the season that forced her to slow down, reevaluate and rebuild from the inside out. Those light switch moments don't just interrupt life. They revealed who she was and who she was becoming. They taught her that resilience isn't about pushing harder, it's about rising differently. Today, she helps ambitious women leaders move through their own light switch moments, the overwhelm, the transitions, the unexpected shifts that leave them feeling stuck or disconnected from who they want to be. Her message is this: you may not control when the light goes out, but you can choose how to turn it back on. And when you do, you don't just return, you rise stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your life than you ever meant to lead. She's a leadership speaker, growth coach who equipped women and organizations to navigate disruption with resilience and alignment. Drawing from her own light switch moment, she gives her audience clear frameworks to refrain focus, rebuild momentum, and lead with greater purpose and confidence. She helps people rise differently and rise stronger. We all want to rise stronger, don't we, hun?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it's one of those things that we're meant to do.
And I think, for people to think that we're going to go from birth to death without a few cosmic 2x4s is rather delusional. We're going to have those. We're going to have those light switch moments where everything feels in the dark. We've rather been conditioned to be afraid of the dark instead of looking at the dark and see what becomes clear. It's like a blackboard. What words will reveal on that blackboard? And that is very often, our own chalk. What are we going to draw on there? But we get so afraid of that darkness because it's like something's come to an end, something's caused the trauma, something's caused this. And we're so caught up in that moment that we can't see clarity at all. What was your light switch moment that kind of brought you to a standstill?
Well, I've had many light switch moments over the years, but the one I think that you're referring to, Sarah, is the phone call with my boss. You see, I was born with a heart condition and I
Mm-hmm.
had open heart surgery when I was a baby.
Mm,
And that's really important to the basis of the story because of that heart condition and that surgery, I have what's called atrial fibrillation, which is an irregular arrhythmia that happens. And in November of 2022, on a random night, I went into AFib for the first time in 4 years out of the blue.
mm-hmm.
And it was really scary. We didn't know
Mm-hmm.
why. And one of the things my cardiologist really wanted to figure out was, is that going to be a one-off situation or is it going to continue to happen? And so he put me on what's called a 30-day Holter monitor. And so it's where I have wires on my chest and I wear it for 30 days. I take it off to shower, but I'm wearing it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And what we didn't know what was going to happen next. Because of the current state of my health, I wasn't in a position to go travel with my work team at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made the decision to stay behind. Now, I know there's nobody who can relate to this, but I knew who my boss was, but I didn't trust her. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like her and I didn't respect her.
Mm-hmm.
It was a toxic work environment. And I knew that if she was aware of my condition, that she would find a way to use it against me. Are you seeing red flags here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I informed her that I wasn't going to travel with the team, but I was going to stay back and work from home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fine. And she had no problem with it until the next week. I submitted payroll. I let her know she approved it and everything was good, or so I thought. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from her and she is yelling and screaming and saying, "How dare I put her in this position? What are you thinking? You know better than this." And throwing out wild accusations without any basis. She was basically accusing me of lying on payroll because I didn't go on the work trip, but worked from home. And I would have
Which you
loved
knew
to explain
about.
it to her.
Yeah.
Right. She approved it.
Yeah.
We communicated multiple times over the course of
Hmm.
these days while they were gone, and I had all the proof, but I couldn't get a word in edgewise. And
Hmm.
finally, to protect my own sanity, because I could feel my blood boiling, I could see
Hmm.
how angry I was, and I could feel it, and it was intense. I calmly said, "Listen, I'm going to hang up now, but when you're ready to have a conversation, let me know." And I
Hmm.
hung up on my boss.
Good for you.
Yes, but it's scary, right? Because they're
It
still in
is.
charge of your paycheck.
Oh, yeah. But you know, your self-worth and your health is
Yeah.
so much more important. And who needs that kind of abuse? Nobody should take that kind of abuse for any reason.
No, and you know what? It only got worse from there. So
Hmm.
what happened next was probably the most terrifying thing. About 15 minutes later, I get a phone call from my cardiologist. Remember, I stated that I was wearing a Holter monitor.
Hmm.
They recorded the entire conversation. And the call from my cardiologist was just as scary and he was just as loud, but in a totally different way. And he's like, "Oh my God, Michelle, are you okay? Are you hurt? Are you bleeding? Did you hit your head? How long were you unconscious for? Do you need an ambulance?"
So the monitor had picked up your heart's response to that
Yes.
phone call, and
To the
what they read
stress.
on that side was absolute distress.
Yes, the EKG itself said emergence, emergency,
Mm.
emergency.
Hmm.
And so they got him and he called me. And what happened, as he informed me, is that I went into an arrhythmia called ventricular tachycardia, which causes sudden cardiac arrest.
Wow.
Basically, your heart stops beating.
Mm. And you managed to stay level-headed during
Le-
this?
Level-headed.
Wow.
It was nothing short of what I consider a miracle. Level-headed, upright, no injuries. We went on to ask him if I needed to go to the hospital. He said, "No, you're okay." And, the scariest thing is he's like, "I don't know how I'm talking to you, Michelle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're still here." And he explained to me that the sudden cardiac arrest can happen within 3 to 5 beats. And when I get nervous, I start
Hmm.
joking. And I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, cool." So I slid in at 1 to 2, and he's like, "Not quite." Very, very much like, "Michelle, this is really serious. Come back to
Yes,
earth."
take it.
Like,
Yes, take it seriously, kiddo. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And that's exactly, and I was in VTAC for 41 beats. I have a picture of the EKG that was taken during that time, and I've shown it to different people I've met along the way and nurses and that don't even know the story. And they're like, "If you were in my ICU, we would have cracked and coded you, Michelle." And I self-converted.
Hmm.
But that was the journey of really understanding
Yeah.
what stress
Yes.
and toxicity can do to a person. Because I'm
Yes.
not the only person, right?
Hmm.
I'm probably not the only person that survives it either. But
Hmm.
here's the thing. We all have heard of the scary Sundays.
Hmm.
They're scary Sundays because people die on Sunday nights and Monday mornings from sudden cardiac arrest. In fact, it used to only happen on Sunday nights and Monday mornings because people were worried about going into work. They were worried about the stress, all of that.
The
But now,
toxicity and all of that. Hmm.
yes, but we are now a society that does not shut off. It can happen
No.
at any day on any time. Mine
Yes.
was a Tuesday morning,
Hmm.
not a Monday morning, not a Sunday
Hmm.
night, a Tuesday morning, right?
Did you play this back to her? Did you show her the effect that she had?
She no to be honest, unless she's heard this and can pinpoint it, I've never told her about this. We never had a conversation around it. It was not her story. It was mine. And
Yes, but
so,
there's always a cause and effect, and she needed
yes,
to own the cause.
yes. But what I had to do in order to keep myself healthy and safe was I had to create boundaries within that situation. And so that meant not going into the office when she was there, not
Mm.
answering the phone when she called. Now, you might be thinking that's avoidance, and you're correct.
Yes,
But we also needed to understand if this was an isolated incident or if it was actually my heart, because we didn't know at the time.
right.
To be
What
clear,
triggered it?
I had a gut feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had a gut feeling that it was the phone call,
Mm-hmm.
which subsequently turned out to be correct. It was the phone call. But if somebody can inflict that amount of stress on my body,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to watch out for me. It's not about the office
Yes.
anymore. It's not about her. It's not about what she needs. And it's not about her ownership. It
Mm.
is about how do I protect me and how do I make sure I come home every night to my family.
I don't think people realize, when they think of abuse, they think physical, and they don't realize how somebody yelling at you. I have this in a marriage. um, I don't know if you've ever seen Harry Potter and the Death Eaters.
Mhm.
It feels like that. They're just sucking the life out of you. I call them piranhas. And you're powerless, however much you want to kind of, because there is no reasoning. There is no, you put the phone down. That was the way you could put the stop of it. Had you been in front of you, that would have been a different scenario. They would have
Correct.
been calling 911.
Potentially, yeah.
Yes. But
Mhm.
you managed to put the phone down, which is like, thank God your head was still working and did
Yes.
what it did.
Yes.
Because when you've got that piranha sucking that life out of you, they don't realize
Hmm.
how much damage they're doing. And we got to understand that anger and people sharing that anger, which is their problem, right? I mean, you could
Hmm.
be angry at somebody if they've hurt someone else, if they've really done something destructive, but yelling and screaming only combusts the situation even more, right? Go and calm yourself down before you address. But clearly, she had an issue. It's her issue. She decided to dump it on you. But
Hmm.
for you to have that response in that short period of time during that call just shows, how much for people with a healthy heart, maybe it's their nervous system, maybe it's something else that's triggered inside of them. But we've got to understand those kind of angers trigger, and they're going to trigger something negative. And
Hmm.
you've got the actual physical proof of what
Yeah.
happened, right? So, but other people very often don't have that. How do I prove that it caused a flare up? I had fibromyalgia. My
Hmm.
fibromyalgia started because of the abuse. It
Yeah.
triggered something inside of me, right? And my body started reacting to it. And people don't understand that kind of anger, what damage it does to the psyche. And the psyche then it affects the body.
Yes. Yeah. And that's so true is that I think the bigger problem is that we don't pay attention.
No.
We are in a society that is so busy at being busy, where that is looked upon as greatness,
Hmm.
that we don't take time to stop and listen to ourselves,
No.
listen to our body, understand how we're feeling. Right? For me, in that moment, my blood boiling was not a normal reaction to anything. I'm
Right.
like, why does this? And granted, it probably wasn't boiling, but that was the feeling I got.
Yes.
And I knew at that moment something was wrong and I needed to change my environment.
Hmm.
Right?
But not
And
everybody has that, though.
no,
Some
that,
people become paralyzed when they're being attacked like that and they can't move. They can't put the phone down. They can't
yes.
escape. And the fact that your brain was still working enough to go disconnect,
Hmm.
is quite the miracle that saved you.
Yes.
But not everybody can do that.
Hmm. No, but I do believe, Sarah, that we can train ourselves to listen
Yes.
to our body.
Hmm.
Right? We need to slow down and understand when we're getting stressed, how do we start breathing, right?
Yeah.
I like box breathing,
Hmm.
right? So if you're not familiar with box breathing, it's breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, stay empty for 4.
Hmm.
And that really just calms down your entire nervous system and allows you to reassess your situation.
Yes.
And you
Take a
might have to do it
breath.
multiple times,
Yes.
but you need to breathe.
Hmm.
Give your body that oxygen. It's demanding in times of stress.
Hmm.
And when you do that, when you slow down and when you take that time, you can start to understand and start to feel.
Yeah.
So because I've lived with a heart condition my entire life, and
Hmm.
even more so recently, after it had started acting up, I have learned to really listen to what my body is telling me.
Yes. You got that antenna going there.
Yes. I mean,
Hmm.
there was a time where you could see me push through, survive on 4 hours of sleep, and I'd run go gun ho all day long.
Hmm.
I don't do that anymore. It's not healthy. I could probably still if I chose to, but I'm choosing to take care of myself and I'm choosing to put my mental and physical health ahead of any business or
Mm.
society demands.
As it should be.
Yes.
Now, I've been partnering with Fibromyalgia now for 30 years. And I know that if I overdo,
Mhm.
overstress, over something else, I'm going to pay the price. It taps me on the shoulder. Hey, hey, slow down. And what I found the universe has started working for me, working with me more and more, is that a person won't turn up for a show. And yes, that's annoying because I have so many a week and you can't get someone last minute. But at the same time, I realize, ooh, all I need is headphones and music today. That's what the universe is telling me, right? And it's
Mhm.
learning to listen to the universe, to your body, to your psyche. Where are you at? Putting those boundaries there, taking care of yourself. Because if you don't, you're in stress. What happens when you're in stress? No clarity.
Mhm.
No clarity at all. The whole reason for breath is literally to align us. Chakra align, everything open up. And then when we're in breath, now clarity of what we can do about it. We can't do anything about it when we're crunched down and in tightness because not only there's no oxygen in the body, the blood flow isn't running properly, the chi, the energy isn't running properly, the fiber optics, my fish girdle is not running properly, and we cannot think straight. So, whatever situation we're in, is take that breath, walk away. Sometimes walk away without saying a word, or put that phone down before you get to that state of collapse.
Yes. Yeah, and that was really the start of my light switch moment, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. You know, and I often wonder what things would have looked like had I stayed with the organization. And I say that in a
Don't
way
think you
because,
were here.
well, a few weeks, no, I didn't leave intentionally. A few weeks after that, I had another light switch moment.
Mm.
I was in a serious car accident. My son and I were hit by a distracted driver
Ah,
as we were
distracted
both,
on the phone.
I don't know. I just know that he wasn't drinking and they said he was distracted and driving too fast.
Right.
We were both doing 60 miles an hour at the time of the collision.
Yes. And
And
that's
that was,
impactful enough. Yes.
yes. And that pulled me out of that environment
Mm.
for months. And by the
Right.
time I came back, she had left. And
Good.
so, and so I only had to deal with those boundaries and that situation for a matter of weeks. I'm not sure how that would have looked like if it would have been months.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And don't think you could have stayed there,
No.
under that situation. And although, yes, the car accident is a little bit of an overplay universe, it kind of, forcing you to kind of recover and revive and re everything else.
Mhm.
It kind of like, well, now we can't have you go back to the same problem.
Right. Yep.
So, and that's the thing, isn't it? I don't think we've come to a stage, and I don't know when this happened. Suck it up, just push forward. You're more
Mhm.
than this. Rah, rah, rah. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we're not meant to be like this. Rah, rah, everything is a fight, everything is push through, everything is this. No, our bodies aren't designed for that. We are actually designed to be more zen, more peaceful, and more clear on who we are and what we're doing in our productivity. It
Mhm.
isn't about the fight. And we've kind of developed a society where it is about that. Work 60 hours a week.
Yes.
Do, 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 do. What are you, a wimp? No, I'm sorry, Sergeant Major. Go back to the army. This doesn't belong in the workforce. You inspire creativity. You inspire productivity. People may put in more hours when they feel inspired, seen, and heard. They don't
Mhm.
feel those hours because they're doing something where they feel they're a contributor. But the moment you start yelling and screaming at somebody, you are demeaning and demolishing them.
Right. And we all want to have a purpose, right? And so when we
Yes.
understand what our purpose is, not only in the workforce, but in life, when you understand what that looks like for you,
Hmm.
it's a lot easier to say yes to what matters and
Yeah.
easier to say no to what
Hmm.
it doesn't, right?
Clearer
That
signals.
clarity comes. Yes.
Hmm.
Right. And I think a lot of people knock on the younger generations, but that's what they're bringing. They're like, I want
Yes.
to feel
Yeah.
like I belong. I want to feel like I'm part of the greater purpose. I'm making an impact.
Yes.
And our older generations, again, we have 5 generations in the workforce.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
don't see eye to eye, right?
No.
Because Sarah, you're talking about the ones from that are on their way, to retirement, getting closer,
Hmm.
right? They're the 80 hours a week, we got
Mm.
this, nothing holds us down, versus the younger generation who are coming out of college and they're like, yes, I want to work for you, but I want to make sure that you're doing good things for the environment. Yes, I want to work for you, but I want
Mm.
to make sure that you're good for my mental health. Yes, I want to
Yes.
work for you, but
Yeah.
they have this list of qualifications. And I think somewhere along the way, people forgot that interviews are a two-way street.
Yes. Why am I begging for a job and I'll bend over backwards in order to get it and lose myself in the process?
Yes.
No, I'm bringing you an asset. You're
Right.
giving me somewhere to share that asset.
But that's also a privilege, Sarah, that
Yes.
we can be choosy and picky
Yeah.
and not just pick the first thing that says, I'll pay you.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I want to acknowledge that not everybody has that
No,
privilege.
no, no, no. And
Right.
some people, it is the job for the job's sake, not a
Yes.
career.
Correct.
And, but I also think a great deal of it is attitude. I always say that the CEO is only as great as the janitor. If somebody's coming to see the CEO in the ivory tower, but the elevator's sticky and dirty and everywhere's got garbage, immediately by the time they've got up to that tower, they've had a different opinion of the CEO. So the janitor's setting the stage. So I think where we used to look at certain jobs as lowly, I think we need to look at them as essential and important. And I think that COVID really brought,
Mhm.
the service people to the front to show how much they contribute and how much we need them. Right now, due to ICE, how we're seeing all our immigrants that pick our vegetables and do all the mundane jobs. Without them being here, who's doing them? You don't see
Mhm.
too many other people stepping up for it, right? And it's where is our appreciation for the people that do the jobs that not everybody wants to do, but they've stepped up in pride to do them. And I think this is one of the problems in the work society. We've put so much emphasis and importance on hierarchy, and we're not looking at in the orchestra, the triangle may not play in every piece, but it's important when does play because it's significant to that piece. But that doesn't make them any less of a player in the orchestra than somebody who's playing in every piece.
Absolutely. Right. And I think at one point in time, 20, 30 years ago, it was the push that everybody needs to go to college. Everybody needs to get a higher education.
Lawyer or doctor, right?
Right. Lawyer, doctor, accountant, right.
Yeah.
Any of those big names, right? But the reality is, it's the people that do the day to day,
Yeah.
the service workers, the tradesmen, right? They are the backbone of our society.
Yes.
And I'll sit there and I will be at professional conferences and people will ask me, Michelle, what does your husband do? I'm like, he's an electrician. And like, oh, we need so many more of them. And people get excited, right? It's like
Yes.
we're now starting to see that. And, we're starting to bring the trades to the high school so people can learn about them
Yeah.
and start working on their degrees, just like we were with AP classes. And
Yes.
we're melding that together to let people understand there is a choice. And no, not everybody needs to go to college. And if that's not the right fit for you, that's fine. Because we understand that we sent too many people to college,
And
right?
we have too
We
many
need the
overqualified
people.
people with not enough jobs for them, right?
Correct.
And we've again
Correct.
put so I actually have somebody on this week who calls it the gorilla system, which he did all his education and then he realized education is very, very much controlled by the societal and what they want people to learn. All right, to kind of doctrine and put out what they want them to do. But we're seeing so many more people now, entrepreneurs saying, no, I just don't see that system working. I'm going to create a system that does work. So we see more entrepreneurs than ever before. And people who see that's not working, I want to bring about something that works better. And it's wonderful to see. Plumbers and electrician and all of those people used to be the lowly jobs. They now make more than a doctor, right? So, everything is perspective. If somebody is very
Mhm.
proud of what they do and they do it well, then we should honor that. And
$100%.
I know anybody in managerial, the moment they become lording over you rather than playing alongside of you,
Mhm.
they're the wrong kind of personality for the job.
Yeah, and that just brings it full circle, Sarah. The person that was on the other end of that phone call, she was at the top of our organization,
Hmm.
right? And I was at the director level. And I had already registered my company by that point, like about a week prior or so, but I really wasn't sure where I was going to take it. And that phone call solidified
Yes.
that I needed to focus on the company and building it and
Mm.
everything that's now come to fruition, right?
Right.
Because I didn't want to be part of the problem. I wanted to be part of the solution. I wanted to help others so that way when my kids grow
Hmm.
up and enter the
Hmm.
workforce, they don't have to deal with what I've dealt with, and they don't have to deal with
Exactly.
what you've dealt with, right?
Yeah,
We're always trying to make a better life for the people that come behind us.
exactly. We know better, we do better.
Yes.
And, as you said, the millennials, I've got three of them. So, it is about, yes, I don't mind putting in the hours. If it's something I'm very passionate about, something that I really see as serving humanity, but I want a quality of time. How many people have I interviewed that have come from corporate or doctors or this or that? They had the big house, they had the fancy car, then they got the divorce, and then they lost the job, or they had a heart attack, or something else
Mhm.
came along. And now they have redirected their lives completely into a balanced life, doing something they love doing and actually enjoying life, which they had no time for before,
Yeah.
right? They had no time to enjoy any of these things that that position and money bought. And they
Right.
never felt happy about it. They reached it, but aren't I meant to be happy now?
Hmm.
Because that's the false illusion that, society's been pushing us, especially since the 70s. It's been push, 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 push up. I'm 71, so the 70s was my 20s age group. I
Hmm.
was living in South Africa. And one of the reasons I left South Africa, one of the most beautiful countries in the world and wonderful people, but working for mostly men, the misogyny just got to me.
Hmm.
It was very sexist, it was very demeaning, it was there were so many things wrong, but you were still treated as the little woman.
Hmm.
And it just really, we see that in politics right now. Yeah. But we have to see it in its grotesqueness to understand what's needed to be changed. We don't change things until we see what the opposite is. Would you have really gone ahead with your own business had you not had that traumatic experience with your boss? Or would you go, I'll get to it one day?
Yeah, and it probably would have been like, I'll get to it one day,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if we're
Mhm.
being honest, I registered it, but I wasn't really sure, it wasn't really clear, even though I had the full backing and support of my
Mm.
family, right? Which is a lot because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are entrepreneurs that are like, how do you get your family on board,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And thankfully, I didn't have that issue. So,
So and this was probably even more encouragement after this episode.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, because we were kind of stuck. I was I had a different job prior to that, and I was working a lot of hours. We had moved closer so I could see the family more, working those hours, right? And my son came up to me and he's like, Mom, we moved here. I left all my friends. We came closer to where you work, and yet I feel like we see you less.
Mm,
And that was really my wake up call. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, because I had him, I had a newborn. He was
Mm,
1, I think, when we moved into this current house. And so, and he's complaining and he's like, I don't see you. We're
mhm.
here for you, and we still don't see you. And so now I'm home most nights. I mean, I do travel for work, right? I'm a speaker. So I do
Yes.
travel. I do corporate trainings, but I'm home more. And when I'm home, the time is more sacred, right? It's quality
Yes.
time. We're doing things as a
Yes.
family. We're doing all the things that he wanted to do when I was just trying to climb that ladder and
Hmm.
make all the money because that was what status was.
Yes. Yes.
But it's not all about that.
No, it isn't.
Uh,
And now you can
right?
choose. Do
Yes.
I want to accept that speaking gig? I'm working with that client, but you know what? I'm gonna just take the day off today and book nothing and just hang out with the kids because you're your own boss.
Yeah. And that was part of it, right? So I couldn't control how other people would
Mm,
treat me in and out of the workforce. I can't control that. What I can control is how I respond, and I can control the amount of stress that I put myself into. So by
exactly.
starting my own company and becoming an entrepreneur, just as you said, I can say yes or no.
Hmm.
I am the person in control. I create my schedule, I create my own stress.
Hmm.
And when it gets to be too much, I can say, "Oh, we're going to back off."
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And there's something
Because
wonderful about, being your own boss. Like last week, I had two people who canceled due to emergencies with family and one person that didn't turn up. But as I
Mhm.
said, I had this little wackaroo, and it was kind of the universe saying, no, 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 you're not paying attention to the wink, wink. Right, I'm going to give you a heavy nudge here,
Yes.
and you kind of shut me down because obviously that's what I needed. And I think we do need to, that's the other thing about being an entrepreneur and your own boss. You think, well, I need to work hard because I am my own boss. No, you need to help work wiser. And if
Yes.
you're spent and if you're worked, um, overwhelmed or you're heading straight for burnout because now you're trying to be everything, because when you're your
Hmm.
entrepreneur, you're wearing all of the hats, right? You don't have to step up and now work even harder. You've just got to work smarter.
Yes. It's funny that you mentioned that. I literally, right before we started recording today, I was on the Growth Lounge, my membership group that I have, and we were talking about goal setting for 2026. And I said, pick
Mm-hmm.
three goals,
Yeah.
three overarching goals, two professional if you want, one personal. Make sure there's at least one personal.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings so much clarity and allows us to say yes and no. And it
Yeah.
gives us a basis and direction
Mm-hmm.
and guidance so that we were
Yes.
not having all those things thrown at us. We are in control. We are keeping our space. We are honoring our time commitments, right? And because
Yeah.
otherwise, everything else starts coming in. And especially around the holidays,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're getting into that. We're full swing into the holiday season, right? We're in December 2nd, full
Yes.
swing,
Yes.
right? So now we got to start thinking about what happens when the family comes over or
Mm-hmm.
all of these parties and invites and things that are just going to start adding on to the workload that we already carry.
Exactly. And Christmas time, I have two kids' birthdays either side of Christmas, and I planned my children. So I'm no good at math. Right? One on the 15th, one on the 30th, and then Christmas in between. So December was always a very stressful time for me. And of course, now I've got three grandbabies. Um, but it's, when we celebrate Christmas twice, one on Christmas Day with my son-in-law's family, and my daughter has invited one of my friends and also a family that's on their own. And then we do it again on the 27th when my other daughter and son and his wife come over, and we just start all over again. So the kids get two Christmases, which they love, right? And but still I'm the old-fashioned one of gifts. No, you don't need to buy gifts, but of course I do. I'm
Mhm.
mama, I'm mama and nana, and whether it's small or not, it's part of my joy. And I've made it a point now that, the 15th is the last week that I do my shows. And until the 6th, I take that 2 weeks off. And yes, I will get online, answer emails, do a certain amount of things, promoting, etc. But no, it's time off. And I'm not going to feel guilty. I used to feel guilty. Oh, I should
Mhm.
be doing this. I should be doing that. And then, I had a few wackaroos, and it's like, why? Who
Yeah.
says? You're the boss, you lay the parameters, and having those goals, I think, is really important. What I would say around those goals, though, we don't always achieve the goals in the year that we think we want to achieve them. But if we nurture them and water them, we've got the seeds growing. And
Hmm.
those seeds will come to fruition when they're meant to. A lot of people set out, I'm going to do this year, and they force everything to do it. It's
Mm.
like learn to read the universe and what it wants you to do. It may
Yes.
be this is a great goal. This is what you need to do as seed and water and nurture so it can come to fruition next year. but this is not the year for it. And it's okay to redirect or set a new goal. Don't be so set on those goals that now you become a prisoner to them.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that you learn how to do really well as an entrepreneur is to pivot.
Yes. Oh
Hmm.
my God, you got to tango dance.
Yeah.
Cha cha cha.
Well, and this is a quote, and I can't remember who said it first, but if the plan isn't working, change the
Mm,
plan, not the
mhm.
goal.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. In the intention for the goal. Like next year, last year I put out our Forgotten Children book. Next year, our Forgotten Seniors book. I want to gather all the seniors for the book. I've been doing the invitation, but I haven't really been doing the pushing. So next year is I want all the authors. This book will come out next year sometime, right?
Hmm.
But it's learning to pivot who, what, and when, and how, and just like don't be rigid in your way of thinking. And I think this it certainly affects people who love organization, right? I'm
Yes.
I'm a chaos worker. I work in chaos. And
Mm.
I make order out of chaos, but chaos is always around me. Um, but some people are very need to be orderly and strategic, and everything must be one step, two step. And you're going to be the biggest victims in this. Because if that one step doesn't work for you, you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get upset, and you're not going to be able to pivot and go, you know what? All the universe is telling you is like, not this way. There's a
Yeah.
different road for you to go down. And you can't see that other road if you're demanding. Do you know the book Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes.
Which I love this book. It's
Yeah.
it's like 28 million at the time they sold this book. But for those that don't understand it, two mice, two men around an abundance of cheese, and one day the cheese is gone. You've got Sniffy and Scurry, the mice that go sniff and scurry around for more cheese. You've got Hem and Har. Har is, oh my God, I don't know what to do. There's no cheese there. Sniffy and Scurry has gone over there. But what do I do? And eventually we said, God, I'm hungry. I need to go and find more cheese. But
Hmm.
Hem is, give me back my cheese. I want it my way. I want it now. Who do I sue? Who do I kill? I want my cheese. And they're so rigid that they're the ones that cause so much problem for themselves. Instead of going, okay, the cheese is no longer here. That just means there's an opportunity to find cheese somewhere else. And I think the people that suffer the burnout most are two kinds, those people and also the people pleasers.
Yes. Yeah. We've gotten into this mode with the holidays where everything is go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We forgot to be still. We
Yes.
forgot that this is a time of family and tradition and being with one another and time well spent, right? The holidays aren't supposed to break you, right?
No.
But between the family expectations, the calendars, emotional triggers,
Yes.
right? You got to make it special, right?
Mm.
Burnout sneaks in before you know it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I say that we have to do is create emotional boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't have to engage in every conversation. You don't have to carry every feeling. You don't have to let somebody, word vomit on you about what's going wrong in their life, right?
Yes.
We have control.
Like
And
the
so,
word vomit.
but that's what happens, right?
Yes,
You
it
see somebody,
is.
you're like, oh, how was your day? And you're expecting the general, oh, it was great. And then all of a sudden, you're
Yeah.
not ready for it.
Yeah.
And they have a big emotional dump on you. And so, in fact, that's happened to me numerous times. And what I do, and I try to do, I'm not perfect, right? I don't do it every time, but if I'm getting ready to pick up on the phone and phone a friend, I'm like, hey, how are you? And they'll tell me they're good. I'm like, great. I'm like, I'm not.
Yes.
Can I lay it out? And
Ask
if
permission.
I
Yes.
do, I ask permission. I'm like, and if you can't handle it right now, that's okay too.
Yes.
Say no, right? Before I just dump, because we
Mm.
don't know what other people are going through. You may
I'm
have talked to
already
your
laden
friend,
and I don't need,
you may have
yeah.
talked to your friend the night before, and something tragic could have happened that morning. You
Yes.
just don't know.
Yes.
Right? So set those emotional boundaries. Don't engage in every conversation. Take time for yourself, right? And build in recovery time,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
if you know that you're going to somewhere for Christmas and you know that it drains you every single year, don't book something for the next day.
Hmm.
take that day, tell your spouse, your partner, and say, hey, listen, I know we're going to go Christmas. I know we're going to do this thing, but I need the next morning to me.
Yeah.
And then when I do that, and if I know I need my time, I book something out of the house. I'll
Mm,
book like maybe go for a walk, or I'll think about, do I want a massage or do I need to
hmm
get my nails done? Something that gets me out of the house that's in a relaxing environment where I don't have to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Because as a mom, as a wife,
Yes.
daughter, sister, all the things, there's a lot of pressure on us to do to do all the things.
Yes.
So when we need that break, we need to build in that recovery time. And a lot of times that means it's out of the house. And if I can't get out of the house for whatever reason, because there was a period in my life where I couldn't after the car
hmm
accident,
Right.
and I'd be like, "Hey, Mike, can you take the kids and go see a movie or something?
Yeah.
I really need quiet." And we didn't dive into this, but I was dealing with a concussion for 16 months. And
Mm,
so that quiet time was sacred to my healing.
yes.
And so I would get that. But if we were on a break from school or something, I didn't always get it. And so I just asked for it. But
hmm
yeah, and that was just it, right? I asked, I communicated what I needed.
And ask without feeling guilty about it.
Yes.
I still have that problem, because
Hmm.
my daughter with the three children does rely on me a lot. Um, I only work 3 days a week. The weekend is kind of, I do all the admin, but I work 3 days a week doing the shows. And then 2 days I'm with the grandchildren and generally a day at the weekend, Mom, we're coming by. And then I've only kind of got one day to kind of meet up with people and have coffee and this and that. And it's like, where's the time for myself? And this last weekend, I was going to do the tree with my grandson and I was going to do this and do that. And I was flattened. I couldn't do a thing. I had
Yeah.
to actually say, no, sorry, I can't do, I can't do. And
Hmm.
I'm still that old school where I feel guilty. And it's
Yeah.
like, shut up, Sarah. You're meant to be on the couch, just watching a movie, looking after yourself and switching off. And unfortunately, I do live on my own. So I've been where you've been with the kids and everything else. It's so
Hmm.
hard to find that moment to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And now that's one blessing of being a grandma is that I can send them home, close the door, and have time to myself, which is wonderful. But I think we have to, it's important to have that time for yourself only. That's when you learn to feel what it is you need. That's when you start
Hmm.
hearing what it is you need to know. This is where you rejuvenate your heart, soul, and spirit. And it's like out of mind, out of mind. This is not thinking time. This is feeling time, and just
Yeah.
allow yourself to feel whatever it needs to feel, whether it's a damn good cry or whether there's some clarity to come along, or whether you need to go
Hmm.
mindless and put something on and forget about anything else in the world. Do what you need to do.
Yeah. And for everyone who's sitting here thinking, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time
Make
for
it.
myself. Make it.
Yes.
Simplify your
Yeah.
commitments.
Yes.
Just because you did it last year doesn't mean you have to do it this year.
hmm
You can say no, and it's
Exactly.
okay. And
I
no
know.
is a complete sentence.
Yes.
No
Yes.
is a complete sentence. You don't
But
have to give explanation. You can if you so choose.
yes.
No is a complete sentence.
And people pleasers need to hear that over and over again. I'm a recovered people pleaser. I'm not recovering, I'm recovered. I do know my boundaries now, and I do say no. Um, Family may be a little more bending, but I do say no. Uh, People pleasers, I think, suffer from that the most because
Hmm.
it's all about pleasing other people. Sometimes it's pleasing other people because that's the way they feel validated, and some people are just natural people pleasers. They want to do for other people. But it's the oxygen tank, isn't it? If you're not breathing, how can you help someone else? You need, this is my time to rejuvenate. So I have more to give. I can't give more if I'm depleted.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think time is such a huge thing, and especially in December. Like you, Sarah, we have two birthdays in December,
Mhm.
December 11th and December 16th, right?
I feel sorry
And
for you. I
so,
understand.
yeah, so I mean, you get it, right?
I
But
get it.
one of the things that I've learned to do is how can I take some of the weight off the plate
Mm,
in December and add it to November,
right.
right? And I'm starting to get better at that every single year. I just told Sarah today, I was like, for the first time in my life, I got Christmas cards out on December
Yes.
1st. And usually I'm running to the post office on the 23rd, like, any chance this is going to make it? Right? But it's one less thing I have to worry about.
Mm.
One less thing that's going to be on my plate. One less thing that needs to happen. And guess what? If people didn't get Christmas cards, it's not the end of the year. It's not the end
Yes.
of the world. They
No.
can get them next year,
Yes.
right?
And you
So,
know, the thing is, what we have today is either email or text or this, that. You can send a Christmas emoji. Sorry, I didn't get a card out. Thinking of you. There's always other ways, right? And the thing is lighten up on yourself. Okay, you wanted to do A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and you know you got to D, and E and F can't happen. So I think especially prioritize what has to be done.
yes.
This has to be done, has to be addressed. The other
Mhm.
things, I'll get to it when I'm ready to get to it. I'm not going to put pressure on myself.
Right. And if you go back to the reason for the holidays, right?
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
spending time with the people that you love.
Yes.
Okay, point blank. Nothing else needs to happen.
No.
Be with the people that matter because we don't know how much time we have on here.
No. No. Every
It
day
can
is
be
a gift.
gone tomorrow,
Yeah. And
right?
you yourself with the car accident, with the heart
Oh,
thing,
yeah. I do
the
know.
light switch
Yeah,
can go off, and I'm going to make sure that I live brightly every day,
absolutely.
because sometimes I'm not always in control of the switch. So, but I think
Yeah.
you are actually. So I think you've
I'm
got
getting
it
better
down
at it. I'm getting better at it.
there.
But ultimately we're never going to be in control of that switch, right?
No. And at
Um,
some point, our light switch is going to go off for us. I don't, we don't know when. Yeah, so we
mhm.
must live every day.
Yes. So here, I'm just going to wrap this up in a pretty little bow for everybody. To get through the holidays, set your emotional boundaries,
Mm,
simplify your commitments, build in and schedule your recovery time.
mm,
Okay, put it in your calendar. We do what's in our calendar. Communicate, communicate, communicate.
mm, mm.
And then release perfection. None of us are perfect. No matter how hard we try, something will inevitably not be perfect. So strive for it, but don't wait for it.
Don't apologize.
Yes.
Right. And the other thing for a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, this is the worst time of year for their business.
Hmm.
All right. So, okay, you're not generating a lot of money with coaching or this or whatever it is that you're doing, right? If you're not in kind of retail, it can be a hard time. You must make sure the other parts of the year you're budgeting for this
Hmm.
month of the year, right? So that it doesn't become stressful, but use it as a time to set your plan for 2026 or 2027, wherever else you're listening to this. And go, oh, I'm glad I have the time now because I knew I needed to da 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 da, and I didn't have the time. Or okay, I don't have all the clients that I normally would have in a month. This is the time for me to start putting things together for the next year. And don't get worked up about it, but it's like teachers, they don't get paid for the summer holidays,
Hmm.
right? So they know that they have to work out their salary has to cover those months off. And so why don't we do the same as entrepreneurs? Look at how do we make sure that we cover for December, which is one of the most expensive months of the year. It is birthdays and Christmas, yes. Um, what were we thinking? And, and make sure you budget for it. And that way it won't become overwhelming. And this is a time to actually then reach out to all your clients and thank them for being a part of you. Get personal. So, no, you're not necessarily bringing the business in, but this is a wonderful time to show gratitude for what has been and set something up for what you want to be.
Yes, absolutely. Protect your heart, honor your
Mm,
bandwidth, and choose peace over
yes.
pressure.
And what is peace? Peace is peace of mind, heart, body, and spirit and soul.
Hmm.
It's when your whole body can feel at peace. This is a perfect moment in time. And you don't get there if you're constantly planning, planning, doing, doing. It is the absence of doing, it is being present.
Right. Yes, your presence is the gift, not your performance.
Exactly. Yes, I was about to say that. Perfect. We are the present
Yeah.
that we give to ourselves, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, don't sweat the small stuff, right? We get so worked up over little things. Does it really matter? Is it that important? We will drop the ball now and again, right?
Yes.
Don't beat yourself up. Simply apologize, right? Apologize, make amends if you can, move on,
Mhm.
right? Because otherwise, we are being a detriment to ourselves. If we're a detriment to ourselves, how can we serve anyone else?
Yeah, you can't.
People think that mental health awareness is all to do with people that have either ADD or schizophrenia or, this or that disorder. They don't realize that stress and kind of the despair around stress or the anger around stress or the debilitating thing around stress is equally as important. And that is, the mental health goes, so does everything else. And
Hmm.
if we take care of our mental health, we're actually taking care of our body.
Yes, and we can choose, for the most part, our attitude
Yes.
around the things that happen for us.
Yes.
In the moment, it feels like it's happening to us,
Yeah.
but in reality, when you sit back and think about it, it happened for you.
Yeah.
And changing the mindset is so important. And I remember recovering from the car accident, all the doctors are like, "Well, you're so positive, and you're just, listen, there's no other way to be." I could have become bitter. I could have been very
Yeah.
upset. I mean, I had three surgeries from that car accident.
Mm. Mm.
Three.
Yeah.
Okay. And
And
I
you've
could have
got kids
become
at home
bitter
and a business,
very
work and
quickly.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay, to say, "Hey, I need help." I'm a positive person. And let's see, the car accident was in December. I had my foot surgery in May the following year, and the recovery didn't go the way I wanted it to. It was taking longer than I thought it should. And I got really down. And you know what? I went and saw somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it was okay because I
Yes.
needed to be angry for like
Yeah.
2 days. I just
Yes.
needed to be angry.
You've got to spend the emotion, but don't become
Yes,
emotional of the emotion. It
correct.
must be spent. It's okay for you to mourn. It's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you to say, I'm in pain or I'm in anguish. It's okay to say those things, but don't dwell, right?
Right. And you need to go and have all those feelings, right?
Yeah.
When you have a light switch moment,
Mm,
especially a major one, like the phone call, a car accident, a spouse leaving you, a
mm.
person in your family passing away, these are all life switch moments, right?
All huge ones.
When these happen, you have to grieve the person that you once were
Hmm.
because you're not going to be that same person when you come back.
Hmm.
You're going to come back different. I don't care how many ways you look at it, you're coming
Yeah.
back a different person.
Yes. More layers, different layers
Hmm.
of you. Yeah.
And so you have to grieve the person that was and turn on that light for the person you're going to become.
Hmm.
Because if you stay in that darkness, you're going to become bitter. Your mental health is going to suffer. Your relationships are going to suffer. And ultimately, it's going to damper the light around you.
Exactly.
And we want
Exactly.
those light switches turned on. They're on
Oh,
a dimmer
yes.
switch. They
Yeah.
come up, they come down, but we want to turn them back on.
Yeah. I mean, we can have a dimmer. Not everything has to be bright,
Yep,
right?
we have moods.
But what we want you to do is to be able to go into the dark and be the light you seek, because that, you can see clarity again, back to that, black chalkboard. What are you going to put up there? What is there for you to see? Is that a lot of people think that darkness is the enemy and light is the answer. No, we're asking the illumination of wisdom to show you
Mhm,
the way, that the switch is that clarity, that switch is that direction. It's
mhm.
the knowledge and the way you need to feel them moving forward. Darkness isn't the problem unless you get lost in the dark and you can't see any light.
Yeah.
So we need that light to switch on for you to see, um, out of the darkness, but also to understand that you are the light for somebody else's path.
Mhm. And I just want to say, if you're in the dark right now and you don't see the light, please reach out and call
Mm,
somebody. Get some
yes.
help, reach out. It's a sign of strength, not weakness.
Exactly. That's something else we've been taught. To be vulnerable is to be weak. Balderdash. The
Hmm.
greatest gift we can give ourselves is our vulnerability. The greatest gift we can give somebody else is our vulnerability, because that vulnerability is the flawsomeness of who we are. We're all flawed. We those
Hmm.
flaws of all those light switches that have gone on and off and the things that have happened to us, but we could be awesome because of it. And we can put ourselves back together with self-love. And in that self-love, we become more stronger, courageous, have
Hmm.
more abilities, and just become that beacon of light for other people.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So
So
please
don't
reach
let,
out.
yes. So don't let your light switch go off and think, oh, I'm in the dark. Just reach out. If you can't find the light switch, clap your hands. Or, just move around until you can find it. And the thing is, sometimes you're meant to be in the dark to see the light.
Hmm.
And, just trust it. Just don't get so worked up of it. But if that light went off, it went off for a reason. And so, maybe you need to spend a moment in that darkness to actually stand, okay, what was the reason here?
Hmm.
What I haven't been paying attention to, and where am I meant to move forward now? And then you'll see the light come back on. So what is it are you offering people for 2026? And I know that you have a newsletter people that can sign up for as well. How did they get hold of you? Tell us all about it.
Yes, they can all reach out to me at Michelle, Michelle, at vonrudencc.com, or my website is vonrudencc.com. And 2026 is going to be a great year. I mentioned earlier I have the Growth Lounge, which is my monthly membership where we do
Mhm.
goal setting, accountability, masterminding. I teach in that group. We also have what's also called the Growth Lab, and that is a step up. It includes the Growth Lounge, but you're also looking at my signature framework program called Let's Grow, all about growth and moving the needle forward. And if you're like, oh, that sounds really good, but I really want some one-on-one sessions too, that's where the VIP immersion comes in. And that includes the Growth Lounge, the Growth Lab, and one-to-one coaching sessions. And there's always the option for one-to-one on its own as well.
Yeah, people can schedule a free discovery call with you.
Yes.
I'm just going to spell it out for people who are listening. It's VonRudenCC.com. And also, people can find you on your various social medias. And those are uh, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram, you're on Threads, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook. So people can reach out to you anywhere. And of course, you sign up for the newsletter. I got the widget form here, but also the newsletter is also on her site as well. And maybe you're just looking at life and going, like 2025 was a bit of a rocky year, too many light switches going on and off.
Mhm.
I need to reset myself so that 2026 or whatever year you're listening this to, because this obviously show carries on living, you need to reset yourself. And it's how do you do that? And sometimes you just need somebody like Michelle that can see things from a different angle and help you to actually understand where is the light switch, which ones you really need to switch on, or which ones you don't. And but also, just simply learn how to breathe and put those boundaries in place and learn to listen to yourself. When yourself tells you, no, you need more time, you need this, you need that. And if you don't pay attention to your needs, you will pay the price with a light switch going off that it's harder to switch back on. So pay attention, right? And sometimes we just need somebody on the outside to kind of help us see things differently, because sometimes we get so caught up within ourselves, we can't see, what we're able to do. And that's why we need somebody on the outside that can help us with that. And of course, you're a public speaker as well. So if anybody wants to book you, is your public speaking always on stage, or can you do Zoom public speaking as well?
I do Zoom as well. I'm a certified virtual presenter through eSpeakers as well. So
Wonderful.
I do both.
So you need somebody that has had her light switch first off, the cosmic 2x4 has been there, but rose back up stronger every time, understands what you're going through, understands what you need. She's a motivator, she's a stimulator, she's an illuminator. So, reach out to Michelle and have that conversation and see if there's a synergy between you, but do something for you that's going to make you stronger in what you do. in the future. So thank you so much, Michelle, for being here today. And I hope your Christmas goes smoothly and all the birthdays and everything else. And, 2026 is very kind to you as well. No more big light switches going on and off. A flicker now and again, and you pay attention, but none going off. So,
Yeah.
but to everyone else out there, please spend some time with yourself and listen to yourself, feel yourself, and understand what it is you need. Because we need you. We need you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And if you don't give yourself time, you're never going to be that. So until next time, folks, bye for now.
Thank you.
We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.